Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of the thorns.
Hello YouTube, it's early morning. Figured I'd do another video before the day gets going. For tomorrow, Wednesday. So if you're new here, you like the prison content, subscribe, share these videos, like them, comment. I always try to answer all comments, and I really enjoy the comments I've been getting. And so let's get into this. The last video I did, I talked about the walls, and so I'm going to end off on this one. I'm going to end off there and then start on the next prison I was transferred to. So I was after I've been there 5 years, I got called down to the caseworker's office, and there's a strange conversation that took place. Well, to me at the time it was between me and another prisoner. We're sitting on the bench waiting to see the caseworker, and this was a gay guy. He asked me if I was going home. I said no. He goes, well, I am. And he said, but I don't want to go home. I said, what? He goes, I like it here. I have everything I need here, 3 meals a day, bed, I can be myself here. He said, so I'm going to go out and rob somebody or keister the money and come back. And that just blew my mind, because I'm thinking I want out and I want to stay out. So I go in and see the caseworker, and they drop me down to a level 4 override. Never quite understood that override thing, but basically I got dropped down to custody level 4. So then I get transferred to Farmington Correctional Center. At that time, that was the closest one to my home. Getting off the bus, there was a bunch of us new people from the walls. A lot of people from the walls was coming there at that time. But getting off the bus, there was a white shirt there, and I found out real quick he did not like people that came from Missouri State Penitentiary. I had dropped my fan, and another guy was helping me find, because it had these, where the covers went, it had these little clips, and they'd popped off, so he's looking for them. And he gets mad at us and tells us to go on, and we tell him we're trying to find parts of the fan. He goes, all you guys that come from M.S.P. think you're badasses. He goes, that's not going to work here. He says, I'm going to show you guys real quick that the things you got away with at M.S.P., it's not going to happen here. And anyway, I finally get parts of my fan. I see he's arguing with us, and we go on. And we went into the property room, and as we're going in there, he's walking beside me, and he goes, you guys think you're so bad. And I'm thinking to my in my head, I don't think I'm bad. I'm just glad to be away from the walls, I hated that place. And so anyway, get put in R&O. which was one wing of the whole. You know, you had the whole. The housing units was 4 wings, but one wing was R&O. So I was there, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks, and they put me in population. And first guy I want to tell you about is my first celly there. He, you know, I was like 23 or something at that time, because I left in 93. I was at the walls 5 years. He was probably 19 or 20, and he tells me, he says, I want to tell you something. He says, you gotta stay on your toes around here. You gotta stay alert, stay aware of everything. And I'm thinking, why? You know, well, it's always good to do that anyway, but I can already see that the violence, because I've been on the yard a few times since I was in R&O. They didn't let you go out much, but I saw that it was nothing like the walls. I could already see that. That doesn't mean there wasn't violence. There was fights, and I don't think I saw one stabbing there. Let me think. Maybe one in the 6 years I was there. So that tells you the big difference between the walls and this place. But there were a lot of fights. And so I kind of laughed. I said, okay, man, thanks for the heads up. And he said, where'd you come from anyway? And I said, the walls. And then his jaw just dropped, you know. Because, you know, even if you hadn't never been there, you've heard about that place. And he goes, oh, so this is not your first time? And I said, no. And I said, but I said, still thank you for the heads up, you know. Next thing I had to get over was, well, the first thing really I had to get used to was the cells, because, you know, I'm used to a small cell, front end being bars. Now I'm in a cell that's a lot bigger. Is quieter, you know, because the front was all brick and steel door. So, and you had a window in the back that you could open. You had none of this at the walls, you know. So that was the first thing. And the first couple nights it was hard for me to sleep, because it was just so quiet. When it gets quiet in prison, something's about to happen. Yeah. So the next thing was the chow hall, you know. When we get there, I went there with my celly, and we sat down in the seat. And of course, I told this story of the next day I went down there and I tried to sit in the same spot, and another guy ended up telling me that you don't sit in the same seat every day. They do things different. But eventually, over time, I became after I did my stint in the kitchen, and I was in college there too, but they closed it because, you know, Clinton had the Pell Grant closed, so they stopped the college, closed down. I think that was the worst thing they could have done. I think they should have left the college there so that, you know, prisoners could get an education, you know, that they otherwise might not be able to afford. So I think that was a bad move on their part. Anyway, I guess it was about in a couple of years, you know, I'm seeing more and more people from the walls there. And we ended up in this housing unit, and I became the lead man over cleaning and stuff. And another guy I knew, he was in charge of laundry, passing out laundry when it came back. And he could always ask for volunteers to help him. But So I told this in another video. It was pretty much me and all my friends just running this house, you know, keeping it clean, and then we had Sonny, who was the laundryman. But the funny thing is you know, I have nothing against blacks, you know. This wasn't a racial thing. It just happened to be all my friends at that time was white. And so the sergeant comes in when we were almost done cleaning. And one of the things we would clean every once in a while is the door handles, except they's kind of funny looking handles to me, and they was like brass or copper, and they would get corroded every once in a while, start turning green if you didn't keep them clean. So a lot of people didn't call them handles, they called them knobs, and doorknobs, you know, which they really wasn't doorknobs. There's more handles than anything. So sergeant comes in, he says, he has this black guy with him, and he says, Saito, we have to hire a black person. And I said, okay, cool. And he said, I got somebody here that I think will be a good worker. And I said, okay, cool. So like I said, we was almost done working. A couple of guys just finishing up, like the shower and a couple of other things. And so this guy says, hey man, what do you want me to do? I said, well, we're almost done for today. Why don't you wait until tomorrow and start tomorrow? He goes, no, I want to do something now. You know, I want to show you guys I'm a worker. I said, I believe you, you know. He goes, no, tell me what to do. I said, look, I said, I don't tell any convict what to do. You know, I just don't do that. It's not, I'm a convict just like you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I said, we got a piece of paper over there, and I said, we rotate each day who's doing what. And I said, the sergeant will make another one out, you know, with your name on it, with ours, you know. We'll have all our names on it. And you can each day look and see what you're supposed to do. I said, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. He goes, man, he said, I ain't tripping on that. He says, just give me something to do. So this goes on for like 5 minutes. And finally I said, well, if you want to, you can polish some knobs. It just came out wrong, you know. And he goes, what'd you say? And the sergeant and all these other guys are laughing. I'm not laughing because I know the guys, he took it the wrong way. I said, look, man, you misunderstood me here. Anyway, we get past that, and the guy ends up working, and he ends up being a good worker. And I got along with him fine, but that was funny. Anyway, they started transferring people after I'd been there for a while. And so some of my friends got transferred. I think I'd been there like 5 years when they started doing this. And I think it's because of Bowling Green. Because they all seem to be going there. Well, I told you that about other fights and stuff I had, and about the people I'd beat up and stuff, you know, like the sex offender. But I got to where I didn't like that place because on one side, the side I was on was regular population, but the other side was sex offenders, and they had to go through a program and all this and that. And the thing about that is that sometimes they'd have them on our side, you know, waiting to go to the other side. And I remember a couple times, guys told me, he said, "Hey, you remember so and so? Said he was in here for a, you know, robbery or whatever." And I'd say, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, he's on the other side. The dude's a sex offender." But I hated it because those guys are walking around the population, enjoying themselves, you know, walk like he's in a park or something. I don't think, it's just my opinion, you know, I don't think sex offenders should get that freedom. And not only that, when they are out on the yard, it causes problems. Somebody could get another charge by hurting or killing one of these guys. And that happened years later at Licking. Guy beat one up and ended up killing him. So they, you know, a young guy that was going to go home soon. So these guys, in my opinion, don't belong on the yard. You know, if you disagree with me, that's fine. You know, if you agree with me, that's fine. You know, make your own. I'm not going to hate you either way. You know, you can comment and let me know what you think. It's just my opinion, my personal opinion. I think they should be in the PC or the hole or something, doing their time, hard time. But what got me sent out of this facility was a guy borrowed a razor from me. This is a lesson learned too. If you don't know somebody, don't give them any, don't loan them anything, especially something like a razor. Well, he puts it on a toothbrush, plants it on some guy, and they found out he did it. And they told him that he told them that I was involved in it. Well, and I already told you on another video where this guy, this major and captain of them, said they was going to get me one way or another, and I think this is the opportunity they saw to get me, because they wasn't backing off for nothing. Even other guards and sergeants and stuff said, you know, we don't think he did this or had anything to do with it. But they ended up writing me up, and for number 3, which means dangerous contraband. And I was so mad. And I was mad at the guy who, you know, set me up. And there was people down there. He was in the hole too. There was people down there threatening him and stuff, you know. And he wasn't saying much, you know. But they was telling him, you know, he better not come back out in the yard. And well, he wasn't coming back out in the yard. He got his level raised just like I did. And they sent him to Crossroads Correctional Center, and they ended up sending me to Potosi. But I was down there for like a good couple months, you know, in the hole. And I was mad. And I was thinking, man, if they send us to the same place, and I was hoping they would, they better not put us on the yard together. That's all I know. But they sent him to Crossroads and sent me to Potosi Correctional Center. And I was at Potosi only a couple of years, but I did 9 months in a hole at Potosi. If you come from another camp to Potosi, it's because you got a major violation, and you automatically do 9 months in the hole. And it's just like when I was there, it was just like a step up program. You know, you went from the hole, and then they put you in another wing. You get a little bit more freedom. You know, they might get you your TV and stuff. Maybe you're out in the wing for an hour or so, and you just keep getting more and more freedom till you're out in the general population. And then they had an honor house. But the strangest thing was there was no death row there. That's where they kept death row inmates, and there was no death row there. It was they was out in the general population, and they went to the hole and stuff just like everybody else, and they lived in general population. Some were in PC, I think. Some were long-term ad said. They had two holes there. One with a 2-man cell, just a regular hole where you did like 10, 20 days or whatever. You did your, or if you came from another prison, you did your 9 months. But those who got in serious trouble there were put in a 1-man cell. And it was over by medical. But yeah, they was called CPs, capital punishment. And I had end up having a couple as a celly. It was just the strangest thing to me, you know. But one day, you know, I worked in the kitchen, the part of the kitchen that put the trays together for people in the hole, because most of the prison in Potosi is the hole. There's only 2 housing units. It's in general population. Everybody else has to have their food brought to them. And there's 6 housing units. Housing unit 4 was like a special needs, you know, it was people that was mentally and also caused a lot of trouble, you know, but they was medicated all the time. 3 house was the hole, 2 house was PC, and then 1 house was that single man cells. And one day when I was taking the food over there to one house, I get there and there's this bubble that you can see the officers in, but you can also, they have like this monitor set up, and it was facing out, so I could look up and see it. And I see this guy. They have this guy in this chair, these chairs that they strap you down to, and they usually put a muzzle over them. Well, they was just beating the hell out of this guy. So I walk a little closer and I'm looking. Officer taps on the window. Said, "Avert your eyes, inmate." I said, "Am I seeing what I'm seeing?" He goes, "I said avert your eyes." And one of them came out from the that was beating the guy, came out and says, "You need to leave now. This is none of your business." I said, "Oh, I'm going to leave." And so I left, and I was telling my celly about it later on when I got on work. He goes, "Man," he said, "if you say anything about it, they're going to come down hard on us, you know." And the way it is, they ended up tearing my cell apart anyway that day. And I don't know if that was just coincidence or what, but I kind of think it's because of that. Anyway, I didn't mean to get into, I was just going to do Farmington, and then the next video do Potosi. I was at Potosi 2 years, so I guess I can go ahead and since I wasn't there very long, finish that out. I was there when 9/11 happened. I got sent to Potosi in 99, and I was there 2 years. But 9/11 had just happened when and I got transferred like a month or 2 after that, you know, right after 9/11 happened. But that was besides the executions there, you know, that was probably the biggest thing that happened while I was there. everybody was just like, couldn't believe it. Anyway, after 9/11, like a month or so, I get transferred to Bowling Green, and I may talk about that in the next video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I thank you for watching. And again, please leave comments.